Oh, shut up! You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
Elon Musk is illegal. He got to go too. Okay, you're going to ship these other people home. Let's start with the South Africans. Okay, and I got a couple other could go too, but he's illegal. Deport immediately.
Elon Musk, was he once illegal in the United States of America?
That he was convinced that Musk's immigration status should be scrutinized.
What is up, YouTube? My name is Happiness and welcome to my channel. So we're gonna look at these videos to which I compiled for you guys, whereby people's reaction on Elon Musk. Steve Bannon wants to deport Elon Musk, and from my thoughts is that why would Elon Musk try to take on the most powerful person in the world, even though he might be the most richest person in the world? But why would he try to take on the most powerful person in the world? And worst of all, why would you want to take on a president? And not only just a president of the most powerfulest country in the world. Well, okay, we can include China and Russia, which are the big powerhouses nowadays. But I see America as being one of the most intimidating countries ever. Even when you look at their flag, like that flag is the most intimidating flag that I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, before we go and check out these videos, I'd like to reference back to Trump's poem of the snake, whereby Elon Musk took him in, and now Trump turned against Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Okay, let's check out this video.
So beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
Okay, there you go, guys. That is Donald Trump for you. But let's check out these videos to which I compiled of, yes, Steve Bannon and the rest of the gang reaction to Elon Musk being deported. Let's check these videos out.
Claiming of the nation and the rejuvenation of the nation is Donald Trump. Without Trump coming down that escalator, folks, yes, I had a ringside seat. And I will tell you, it ain't the Elon Musk of the world. They come and go all the time. They're a dime a dozen. Because it's about the sovereignty of the nation and sealing the border and shipping 13 million out of here. Let me change that. 13 million and one, because Elon Musk is illegal and he's got to go too. Okay, you're going to ship these other people home. Let's start with the South Africans. Okay, and I got a couple other could go too, but he's illegal. Deport immediately. On ketamine and everything like that, with the MAGA cheering him on, and he's doing the thing and going to the inauguration, and he's a big shot, and he's getting all that adulation. He doesn't understand. That's for Trump. That's for Trump. Because Trump's the man that's got in the arena and did it and risked everything, including going to prison for 300 years. We'll see how good Elon Musk takes a little of that pressure, because I happen to think a little of that pressure might be coming.
Elon Musk, was he once illegal in the United States of America? Elon Musk was born in South Africa. He immigrated to Canada at the age of 17. He joined his mother and was able to immediately obtain Canadian citizenship. In 1992, for his third year in university, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, entered the U.S. on a student visa. He graduated University of Pennsylvania and then enrolled in Stanford in 1995 to enter a PhD program. After 2 weeks at Stanford, he quit Stanford and started a company with his brother, Kimball. We don't know anything else about what his immigration status was when he quit Stanford, other than he was on a student visa, and that we also know in 2002 he became a U.S. citizen. So what happened between the 2 weeks he quit Stanford on his student visa and the time he became a U.S. citizen in 2002? We know in 2013 at a Milken Global Business event, he and his brother Kimball were interviewed. And Kimball said at this interview, when he was asked about his first funding for $3 million in the company that he and his brother started in 1995, Kimball said, quote, "When they did fund us, the investors realized that we were illegal aliens." End quote. Elon Musk shot back, "Well, it was a gray area." There is no gray areas in immigration. You're either legal or you're not legal. This is what I think happened. When Elon dropped out of Stanford after 2 weeks, he became an undocumented immigrant. He was no longer on a student visa. Nobody particularly sponsored him because he started his own business. Probably Elon Musk was undocumented in the US for months and months. Probably he either sponsored himself in the EB1 category for somebody with extraordinary ability, or more likely in the EB2 category, national interest waiver, that he was building businesses, and it's in the interest of the United States to build .com companies back in 1995. Both of those applications required a self-sponsorship. Both were relatively fast back in the 90s. And once he was approved, he either processed for his green card in Canada without a 3 or 10-year bar because he was in that DS status, or paid a $1,000 penalty fee and adjusted his status in the U.S. under Section 245I. He likely got his green card by late 1996, early 1997. That's why he became a U.S. citizen in 2002, 5 years later. But certainly it likely appears that from the time he quit Stanford after 2 weeks in his PhD program to the point of either adjusting his status under 245I or returning home to Canada to pick up his green card and return, he was undocumented, maybe for months, maybe even for more than a year, living in the United States illegally.
Republicans are calling for Trump to deport Elon Musk. According to the New York Times Tyler page, Stephen Bannon, who went from being Trump's 2016 campaign chairman to Trump's official White House chief strategist during his term, wants his former boss to send the world's richest man back to Africa. The MAGA podcaster told the Times that he was convinced that Musk's immigration status should be scrutinized, saying, and I quote, "They should initiate a formal investigation of his immigration status because I am of the strong belief that he is an illegal alien and he should be deported from the country immediately." Keep in mind that we just got an influx of white African refugees because apparently in South Africa, where Elon Musk is from, there is currently an unaliving, a massacre going on of white African farmers. What do you think those people...
Okay, I just want to stop it over there. There is no unaliving of white African farmers. I am from South Africa, by the way. No such a thing as that. Please, 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 please stop saying there is a white unaliving of white farmers, because the problem of South Africa is because of its open borders, whereby illegal immigrants come into our countries and then they take all the jobs to the point whereby it starts becoming people, maybe local people, I'm making an example, stop committing crime. Even not only local people, but also these illegal immigrants. That's why I'm saying that the problem with an open border country whereby anyone can come in, they end up stealing our jobs, and at the end of the days, the people from that country cannot make money. It becomes a point whereby people start committing crime, you see, because there are no jobs. So that's the problem with South Africa. There is no unaliving. Please stop saying that. Please.
would do if a white Elon Musk is to get deported to South Africa? Do you think the Trump administration should follow through or let Elon Musk's pity party calm down a bit? Let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to hit that follow button for your daily updates.
Could Donald Trump deport Elon Musk after their feud? After Trump and Musk's big breakup, there were a lot of people speculating about just how much retaliation each one of them could do to the other. And one person suggesting a big form of retaliation is former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, who's literally advising Trump to deport Musk from the country. Now, could Trump actually do that? That's a big question. And the answer is, it's a lot easier said than done. For starters, we're not just talking about deportation here. We're talking about denaturalization, removing citizenship from somebody. And that, especially for somebody with billions of dollars to hire lawyers, is a long process. The big question here goes back to the 1990s, when Musk first came to the US from Canada, where he had become a citizen through his mother after leaving his home country of South Africa. Because he had Canadian citizenship, he was allowed to enter the US to attend school on a student visa without getting an immigration visa. He went to UPenn and was then admitted to Stanford. Now, if he had kept going to school, he would have had the right to stay in the US. But as he himself has admitted, he dropped out of Stanford after 2 days and instead pursued his businesses, which under federal law would have appeared to end his ability to remain in the US. But he stayed. Now, Musk has consistently denied that he was in the country illegally, and he said he got a work visa after leaving Stanford. But he once joked that it was a, quote, gray area, and his brother has publicly said that they were both illegal immigrants during that time. Now, here's where it gets complicated. In 1997, Musk got a green card, which allowed him to stay in the US permanently. And in 2002, he became a naturalized citizen. So he is a US citizen. And that means that kicking him out of the country is a huge deal, and it's rarely done. Now, a lot of people like Bannon argue that this is kind of a fruit of the poison tree thing, that Musk became a citizen by doing things previously, like lying or overstaying the visa, that disqualified that citizenship. And there is some legal basis for that argument. The law does state that citizenship can be revoked if it was, quote, illegally procured or, quote, procured by concealment of a material fact or willful misrepresentation. But the Supreme Court has repeatedly ruled that in order to satisfy those standards, the government has to prove that what they lied about or broke the law about is directly connected to their becoming a citizen, and that they lied or broke the law in an intentional and knowing way. And that's not to mention, we actually don't know for a 100% fact that Musk did in fact overstay the visa and had no subsequent visa after Stanford. So, bottom line, is Trump going to deport Musk? Probably not.
Can Elon Musk be deported? This story is back in the news again, so let's talk about the law and whether or not Elon can be deported. Elon is a citizen, and that usually means you can't be deported. He's a naturalized citizen, and naturalization is very difficult to take away, but it can be taken away in limited circumstances. Let's talk about what they are. INA Section 340A requires that naturalization orders that were illegally procured or procured by willful misrepresentation must be rescinded. And before you can be naturalized, you have to be what's called a lawful permanent resident for about 5 years, I think. And the key word there is lawful. There are two types of non-citizens that are allowed into the U.S. generally: immigrants and non-immigrants. Non-immigrants are people who come here temporarily with the intention of leaving. Immigrants are people who come here with the intention of staying. And there are different visas for immigrants and non-immigrants. Now, according to a Washington Post article from October 27th, 2024, Elon came here on a non-immigrant visa, like he was only coming here temporarily, to be a student, which means when he came here, he was only allowed to be a student and he had to be a student. However, according to that article, he came here and he was not a student. He never enrolled in school, and instead he got a job. That is fraud. Now, I don't know the rest of Elon's immigration story, but presumably he went from that visa to a series of other visas till eventually he became a lawful permanent resident and eventually a citizen. But if it is in fact true that he committed fraud during that first visa, it could have tainted all of the visas that followed, because he would have had to fill out paperwork saying that he'd never violated the terms of a visa. And those would be lies, which would eventually make his lawful permanent resident status not lawful. And if he was never a lawful permanent resident, then he couldn't become a naturalized citizen, which would make his citizenship irrelevant and revocable. According to 340A, in fact, it would be required to be revoked. Now, as with most of these things, they can usually be cured by the executive, so the president has some power to just fix this, check the box. The problem is, it doesn't sound like he is in a very forgiving mood related to Elon these days, so I don't know. Again, this is all based on a series of facts that I don't personally know, But that would sort of be the legal evaluation if that set of facts is in fact correct.
Okay, guys, you heard that. I mean, like, yeah, maybe they should deport Elon Musk. Maybe they should not deport Elon Musk. I mean, like, he is a contributing person to politics in America at the moment. So, I don't know, your comments down below. But despite that, guys, thank you for watching my channel. Please like and subscribe. Let's meet up to the next video. Peace out.